Revenge films.
My husband and I live together, just the two of us. We don't have kids yet, so we both work full-time. We met a few years ago through a mutual friend. Even though it was our first time meeting, we hit it off right away. We exchanged contact information that same day, started seeing each other, and eventually started dating. About 6 months into our relationship, my husband invited me to a restaurant and proposed to me. I was so happy that I immediately said yes. After that, everything moved quickly. We introduced each other to our parents and started talking about the wedding. But since we were both busy with work at the time, and though I felt a little wistful about it, we decided to just register our marriage without a ceremony. We moved from living separately into my husband's apartment, and I decided to keep working until we had children. About a year after we got married, everyone around us started having babies, and I started wanting kids too. I was thinking about cutting back on work to start trying for a baby when my husband gave me a special present for my birthday. To my surprise, it was a car with that cute design I'd been wanting for ages. Surprised by the sudden gift, I said, "Are you sure this is okay?"
Of course! You've been wanting this for so long. Since it's your birthday, I thought I'd surprise you with it. You commute to work every day, so make sure you're driving a lot from now on.
Thank you. I'll take good care of it. I had actually been thinking about starting to try for a baby soon, but since my husband had surprised me like this, I decided to keep working a while longer so I could see him happy. However, from that day on, I started feeling progressively worse. The symptoms were always the same. For some reason, I'd get sleepy right before my commute. I'm naturally an early sleeper. I usually start getting ready for bed around 9 p.m., but lately my husband had been saying that there was a great movie we should watch together and inviting me more often. We'd usually start watching around 9 o'clock, so I wouldn't get to bed until after 11. But I figured the morning drowsiness was probably because of that. My office is a bit far from my husband's apartment, about a 30-minute drive, so I'd fight off the drowsiness every morning, and there were several times I almost got into an accident. But I didn't tell my husband because I didn't want him to worry. But the morning drowsiness kept getting worse. I was honestly wondering if I had some kind of illness and worrying about it alone. Meanwhile, my husband seemed really eager for me to drive the car. He'd try to get me used to it for even the smallest things.
Hey, I heard there's a meat sale at the warehouse store. With prices so high these days, why don't you take a drive out there and check it out?
Or he'd say,
"You know, someone from my office mentioned there's an amazing new hair salon that opened in the next town over. Why don't you go check it out?"
He started doing this more and more, trying to get me to take long drives for some reason. At first, I thought he was just saying that because he wanted me to use the car he gave me, deliberately encouraging me to drive it. But the drowsiness kept getting stronger, and I thought I'd eventually get into an accident at this rate. So I consulted a close friend about it, and she said, "You absolutely cannot drive in that condition. And if you're feeling like that, you need to go to the hospital. What if it's something serious?" She pushed me to go, and while I thought, just for being sleepy, I realized it would be scary if some serious illness was hiding underneath, so I decided to go to the hospital. But honestly, I was afraid of going to the hospital and finding out I really had something serious. So I told my husband I was going to the hospital and that the drowsiness had been terrible lately.
You're just imagining things. Everyone gets sleepy sometimes, right? I'm sleepy every day, too. There's no such thing as an illness that just makes you sleepy. There's no need to take time off work for something like that. Doctors aren't sitting around with nothing to do, you know.
For some reason, he didn't seem happy about me going to the hospital. I had expected my husband to immediately tell me to go see a doctor, so I felt a strange sense of distrust. After that, my husband said to me almost every day,
"Don't go to the hospital! Besides, if you take time off work, you'll inconvenience everyone at the office."
It felt like he was trying to prevent me from going to the hospital. So I told him, "Okay, I won't go." But then I went to work normally in the morning and used paid leave in the afternoon to secretly go to the hospital without telling him. But that morning, the drowsiness hit me harder than ever. Even after arriving at the hospital, I was so sleepy I could barely stand it. When my turn came and I was called in, I explained my recent symptoms and had some tests done. When I was called back into the examination room, the doctor had a very serious look on his face. He asked if I'd been seeing a psychiatrist recently, and when I said no, he started asking things like whether I had any worries or if I'd been having trouble sleeping. I didn't understand what he was getting at, but I said no to everything. Then the doctor said something shocking.
Large amounts of sleeping pills were detected in your system.
What? Sleeping pills? A drug I never expected came up, and I was stunned. The doctor had suspected I might have suicidal thoughts because I was taking more medication than necessary. As I talked with the doctor about when I felt sleepy, something terrifying dawned on me. My husband's face flashed in my mind. Lately, he'd been eager to get me to drive. And I realized the drowsiness started getting worse around the same time I got the car. I went pale. The doctor said if I didn't recognize taking any medication, I should probably contact the police. He advised me to distance myself from my husband immediately and to reconsider everything I was consuming. Come to think of it, my husband had been making me smoothies lately, saying they were nutritious and having me drink them every morning. Plus, before I'd go on longer drives, he'd give me some kind of drink. I realized the sleeping pills were probably in those. When I got home from the hospital, I searched the entire house. In the box where my husband keeps his skin toner and other personal items, I found sleeping pills and felt a chill run down my spine. My husband is trying to kill me. And if there was a reason for that, I could only think of one thing: an affair. I wanted to identify who it was and gather evidence, but I thought I couldn't wait around in this condition. So I explained the situation to my in-laws and had them come to our house urgently to wait for my husband to come home. While waiting, I looked around for any evidence I could find, and in the trash I even found a receipt from a hotel I'd never been to. When my husband came home that evening and saw my in-laws, he casually said, "What are you doing here?" But when he saw the sleeping pills on the table, he visibly flinched. Before I could say anything, my father-in-law said, "What is this?" Even though they were just sleeping pills, my husband's guilty conscience showed. His eyes darted around and he said,
"Well, a friend wanted these and,
He made up some nonsensical excuse, but my father-in-law exploded. When he yelled, "Are you behind all these strange things happening to her lately?" My husband got scared and confessed everything right away. My husband had always been afraid of his father, so I think that played a role. And just as I suspected, my husband had given me the car to increase my driving, planning to make it look like an accident with the sleeping pills, and it turned out he'd even taken out life insurance on me, all in cahoots with his mistress, of course. From there, my father-in-law completely lost it and started beating his son. My husband sobbed and bowed down to me in apology, but there was no way I could forgive him. I turned both of them over to the police and decided to divorce him after demanding compensation. The mistress was his office worker. When she realized I'd found out everything, she was arrested by the police with her eyes wide open, saying, "How did you find out?" My in-laws bowed in apology to me, and they promised to make sure he paid proper compensation and atoned for his crimes. So I found some closure in that. After that, my husband and his mistress were convicted of attempted murder and sent straight to prison. I went to the hospital for a while after that and managed to cleanse my body. For those two who tried to kill me without getting their hands dirty, they'll be locked up in a cramped cell for a long time, but I think it's the punishment they deserve.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.